Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
How are you?
Nice. I'm all right. How are you guys?
Uncle Terry, we are great, and we are great to have you on the Score airwaves as per usual. Deutsche Bank over here has now been here for 29 years, and he's mad because everyone's congratulating him on the fact that there hasn't been anyone here that's worked longer than him, right? So here's my
Correct.
thing. I still have to deal with him for a little while longer. How did you not punch him in the face every day? How did that work for you?
I think there was a pool of it around the station when he came over. When we became partners. I think there was money riding on it. Me punching him in the head. And you know what I found? First of all, that my temper wasn't as bad as I thought, and second of all, he really is brilliant. I mean, he really is brilliant. It isn't. Once you get used to the rest of him, you start going, oh, my God, he knows exactly what he's talking about. He's sharp. He's concise. He's not too windy like I am. And he can talk about anything he wants to whenever he wants to talk about it. I mean, after a while, you sort of learn what's not to like. What is there about it?
We're cutting off day drinking for you, Boers. That's it. We're
too far.
We're showing up, and I know that you're sitting in a cornfield in New Lenox with Carlton Fisk's handle of vodka in your hand, and somebody's taking it away from you. Appropriately, I want to mention this hour is brought to you by our guy Wex at EOC Audio. Hey, buddy, Chicagoland's leader in audio video networking and home automation, EOCaudio.com. Your name came up last week. Nobody told us that John Force, the legendary drag racer, was as big of a major loon as he is. And he was talking about the old Route 30 drag strip down near you. And you had a reputation as a bit like an off-the-books street drag racer yourself. So we mentioned you, and he was talking about all the good memories of Route 30.
Yes, he absolutely was. And there were some. But I even decided after a couple of times I went out there, but I did meet him. Oh, this is a long, long time ago, and he really is a piece of work. I mean, he is really something. Of all the guys you meet along the path of doing sports, no matter what the sports are, you're going to meet somebody that probably is out of his mind somewhere. I mean, it won't take you more than 5 minutes to find him either. But John Force is one of those guys. But is he a lot of fun? I don't know if you guys had fun with him, but he is a lot of fun.
I've never seen a guy eat so much cake.
He came in here, and people are still talking about the segment.
This is the dumbest guy I know.
It's like you wound him up, and off he went. And everything was fairly normal until the red light went on, and he put his sunglasses on.
Yeah, we knew we were in trouble then.
Yep.
Great food, great bathrooms and stuff, for the kids.
Bathrooms are very important. Important for the
Well,
kids.
at this age, he could be losing his grip just a little, huh? It wouldn't take much.
He's 75 and still strapping himself to a nitro rocket and setting records. I'd love to see you do it. I'd love to see you in one of those cars.
Of course you would. Of course you would. I remember him a little bit from being around, and he, major loon. And there's so many guys we talked about over the years that are major loons. Yep. I don't have too many women on my list that are major loons, by the way. I don't think there's much of a coincidence there that, well, wait a minute. Don't you know any women that are involved with sports that are major loons? And I go, I really don't think so. But the men, I could go on forever. That are crazy, just out of their gourd. But he was, at that time when I first met him, way, way back, he was unique then. And 50 years later, he's still out of his mind? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
That he's still crazy?
Terry, it was a moment for sure. Like, it was one of those things where people asked us, hey, did that just happen? And after it was done. And so how you guys, you started the Who's Your Guy segment. So we've continued that tradition of Who's Your Guy. And we have the drops we have decided, Studs, our producer, has decided we're going to have a whole day next year of Who's Your Guy, where all the drops are just from the John Force interview.
I came under a bridge, and I got lodged under a bridge.
That's how crazy he was when he came on the air last week, and it was great. Like, people enjoyed it, and it was like spinning a yarn.
I don't want to bury the lead here.
338 miles an hour, nitromethane belching out the pipes, tires smoke, explosions, fires, winning, losing.
I don't want to bury the lead here, but you always pledged at the moment you walked away from doing this full time that you were done with the Chicago Bears, and you mostly kind of lied because you were still watching Bears football. Now there is what is the closest thing we've seen to actual, real, legitimate optimism with this guy in town now, and everything having fallen the way it has. Are you back? Are you there? Are you a believer, at least a conditional believer, in Caleb Williams?
No, I'm a believer.
Okay.
And I'm the Monkeys. I absolutely, yeah. I think that he can really play. And I think for once they're not wrong about a quarterback, which has been a habit for, decades. But, I mean, finding this guy and that guy, and they look good for 2 weeks, and then they go back to sucking, and then we never see him anymore. But, no, I think he can really play. I think that they are certainly set up a wide receiver. I think everybody I talk to that knows the Bears and knows the coaching staff says they certainly like to see some changes made, things done a little bit better, a little more consistently sharper with everything you do. And I thought, well, I can't help them with that, but this kid can. This kid can make them look like real coaches. That's what I think. I don't care if he was crying in the stands with his mother, what he was doing. I think he can do that. So yeah, I'll come back. I'm coming back.
All right. Well, we got a chair open on Mondays. If you want to come do some Bears breakdown with us.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah.
Yes, let's do it. Did you see the video, Terry? I don't know if anyone gave it to you or you were able to see it. Someone said to new Bears wide receiver Rome Odunze, they said, "Hey, do you know what the franchise mark in receiving yards is?" And it's still, Johnny Morris. And he was like, wait, what? Like,
it was Parkins
in a career?
Yeah. In a career?
Do we have the sound that we can play? This is from Parkins and Spiegel. Terry, check this out.
In a career?
In a career.
They gave him Johnny Morris's numbers, and that was the Rome Odunze response. They couldn't believe that those 5,000 whatever yards was in a career, and maybe just fun. And I feel terrible for Johnny Morris, Terry, because here's a guy who was a terrific flanker, who is and was the number one sportscaster in this city for decades, and now is
a punchline.
Now is standing at the finish line, just waiting to see if his exacta hits. And now he's and unfortunately the guy's got to be a punchline, which isn't fair to him.
No, I agree. And really a good guy, by the way.
Yeah,
he is. So I mean, but yeah, I think if they're just getting back to Johnny Morris, I think they're very close now.
Yes,
they're a hell of a lot closer than they were. They've got some guys who are very talented, and we know how you win NFL games. I think they've got a little bit of everything, but it still has to be, as we used to say in the old country, coached up a little. I mean, let's not fall asleep. Let's not keep doing dumb things. And I think they're going to be just fine. Look, the Lions were winning. Yep. For the love of God, the Lions are decent. I can't remember the last time I said to somebody the Lions are decent. What?
The only bad part is that it feels like Green Bay may have found another one of those guys to terrorize the Bears for a while. That seems scary to me.
Yeah, I agree. They're a problem. They are a problem. They really are. So, I mean, I think it's just going to be a hell of a lot more fun than it used to be for Bears fans. I mean, I know they're still coming out. I know they're still crazy, and I know they still love it and all this other stuff. But I don't know if the young ones probably don't realize how long it's been since you could actually have something about the Bears that excited you.
Well,
you said, I'm really looking forward to this.
Well, I've been laughing because our longtime buddy Schmutzy put the list together yesterday, And these are the Bears' starting quarterbacks since I started at the score.
Oh, dear God.
Walsh, Kramer, Craig, Meyer, Stenstrom, Moreno, Matthews, McNown, Miller, Chandler, Burris, Stewart, Grossman, Krenzel, Hutchinson, Quinn, Orton, Greasy, Cutler, Collins, Haney, McCown, Campbell, Clausen, Barkley, Hoyer, Trubisky, Glennon, Daniel, Foles, Fields, Dalton, Simeon, Peterman, and Bajent.
The Bajency, baby.
That's 35. That's 35 since May 19th.
You made me sick.
Of 1995. And that's what that is. That's too damn many.
That's what it is. It's too damn many. Is right. Many. Oh my God! And unfortunately, I've been around long enough to cover most of them in some way or the other. So, thanks for that.
There's too many.
Oh my God!
So Terry, Dan
I don't think
has
he's one of them though.
Dan has successfully dodged us talking about him in this segment, which was what he was trying to do. He's dodged it. So for someone that he was his partner longer than anyone else, what do you think of what you guys are able to accomplish as a show, and what kind of testament is it to Dan that he's been here for 29 years?
I think it says everything I needed to say, and everything he needs to think. I mean, look, when the pairing was first made, as I alluded to before, it was a little bit of, oh my God, you're going to want to kill him in a month. And then I had somebody you're going to kill him within 3 days. I said, oh, okay. I said, you know what though? I said, smart doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. I'm not. We're not doing brain surgery here. We're not doing anything else. We're doing a sports show, and I think that what Dan has done, and anywhere for going on 30, in your 30th year, you must be pretty damn good at it. But what he has done is he transferred all the other stuff that's in his head, and he's still got that. I'm sure it's all still there.
Oh, it's still there.
Into sports. Do I have to tell you that? I don't think I do. I hear the show often enough to know I don't have to tell you. But I think he successfully made that. When I used to get when people first found out that we were going to be paired, I mean, I was getting there's a lot of condolences and like somebody passed. I mean, well, I'm sorry to hear that's happening. I'm saying no. It's no. It's going to be fine. And I think that whatever it was, whatever our combination was for that, whatever it did to blend and to make itself into what it became, it's him. I don't do anything. I'm just an old dumb guy. So I mean, I just think about stupid things and let him do the serious thinking, which I found was a lot easier to do. And that show was, from people who said this thing, oh my God, I'm so sorry, this is going to happen to the score. I was getting all kinds of this crap, and I'm thinking, what are you talking about? Do you ever listen to this guy? He knows what he's talking about. Everything's fine. It's like, well, you can't talk to him. You can't tell him anything. I said, yes, I can. Yeah, sure, I can. I mean, you don't start a relationship in a show by being afraid of the other guy. I mean, just people. I mean, back when and we were still fairly new then. We were still, experimenting and looking around and trying to get everything as good as you could possibly get it. But he's done that. He's solidified this station. And, all I was just along for the ride. Mm-hmm. That's what I was. So, I mean, I didn't have any great thoughts about it. I didn't have any great ideas of what the station could become. But what it's become still makes me proud to this day, because I know what little I had to do with all that where this station is today and the people on it are terrific. And I take great pride in it. And I think people back then, 30 years ago, would have said, no, you're never going to see it. I had people tell me that's never going to last 2 weeks. have you heard him? I said, yeah, I've heard him. He's on the show. I said, yeah, I think we're acquainted. So you know what I'm talking about, Lawrence. I'm sure you heard the same stuff.
I did. I absolutely did.
All right, so before we let you go, Terry, there was a time when there was a point in your life where you, in a summer like this, you would be watching the grandkids play baseball. You would always be going in basketball and all that. And now, like, are we waiting on great grandkids now? Like, I'm wondering now that so many are moving on to their own adult lives of that generation. Or what's your thing? How are you spending your time?
Well, mostly I spend it with doctors. They seem to come on me in swarms, and they always make plenty of room for me to get in there. So I spend when I'm not with a doctor somewhere. I still have, and I have the sixth grandchild on the way. By the way,
all right.
There it is.
So,
wow.
Yeah, I know. Especially when you look at some of them already, how old they are, and I'm thinking, holy crap. But I guess if you're going to get married, as long as I've been married, that's how you sort of have to do it. That's if you want to see all of that and try to enjoy it as much as you possibly can. That's sort of what you have to do, and to watch all of them succeed at school and everything else they do, I couldn't be happier. I mean, it is the joy of my life, and those kids. And like I say, we got another one coming up in a couple of months here, so there'll be another and a girl. So I'm sure she'll be brilliant too. Her mother's an attorney, for the love of God. I would think that she'd be okay. But I've been very, very fortunate. I mean, they are, to keep your life going, that next generation is really, really what it's all about. It's not about me. It's not about Carolyn. It's not about it. It's about keeping that next generation alive and keeping them going and keeping them motivated. And we didn't have to do any of that. They motivated themselves. Where, as you know, working with me and trying to teach me, we get all the way back to then, trying to motivate me was very difficult. So wherever that gene disappeared to over these years, I'm very grateful that it wasn't transferred to my kids or my grandkids. They are not anything like me in that sense. Way smarter and way better at stuff than I ever was, and way more decisive about what they want to do with their lives. I mean, I reached what I wanted to do because I thought to myself, you really can't do much else. So you might as well try to write. There's not much else you're good at. So why don't you just go ahead and start writing? And that's what I did. I mean, you have to pay your little dues first and sit on the desk and do all that stuff and get to know everybody and all that. But, I mean, self-motivated, self-driven. I don't have to worry about them. Never have worried a second about any of them. And they are really something. And like I say, we've got another one coming in a couple of months here. So it'll be a busy summer. And I'm still in Florida, by the way. I'm sitting out by the pond. I'm not watching any crazy people. Maybe an occasional gator walks by.
Yeah, it's Alex Brown.
Well, we're a little far for them, but yeah, you never, Central Florida, maybe. You never know. But I had them last year on my front steps.
Gators?
I walked out there to put garbage out. There's a gator sitting on my front steps.
Boy, it was better than the armadillos, I guess.
I've been debating that. I generally the gators are harmless. They sit and they come back in this pond and they sit and they kind of get settled in and you think, oh, they're going to be here forever, and then they just walk out the back door screaming, looking for a mate, because that's what they do. They scream at one another when it's mating season. I think, oh, wait a minute, that could bloom. It's been quite something. But we've had a gator here all year since we got here in January, and he's still there. He's still sitting out there, and he's got a little gator with him.
Oh.
He's got an itsy bitsy gator that crawls around here too. But now last year we had him right on the front steps. That's a little close.
It's a little close.
That's a little close. So yeah, a little close.
All right.
I'm not that crazy about him.
You keep Peach safe from the rampant gators. Make sure you do that and send our love.
Yeah, and if it's possible, we would love to go back to Mr. Benny's with you at some point.
Uh-huh.
I think it's going to be possible. I got a note from Mitch this morning, so I think we're going to arrange that.
Yeah,
something's in Mitch's mind, and it'll come out of there sooner or later. So he'd send me an email this morning. So
I wish everyone could be at our table with you at Mr. Benny's because you want to talk about big shooter. Here we go. Everyone has he's got a story for everyone. He's asking everyone about Mr. Benny, which is great.
Anyway, Dan, congrats, my friend, and couldn't happen to a better guy, and I'm not the least bit surprised about it. I don't know what you're going to do. You got 30 more years left in you. Not 30 more, right?
I was going to say you do the math on that, and I'm going to be in a box.
I mean, if you look at where your dad is, you're good.
Yeah. I just still can't hit the ball as straight, though, and I can't run in a putt to save my dumb ass.
See, there are things to shoot for.
Yep. He's going to shoot his age soon. And
I
am not. So I will not.
If you shoot your age, then we should put you on the tour.
Yeah, there we go. I'll go out and get Xander's dumb
Oh,
ass.
God.
Terry,
God.
love you dearly. Be well. Love to all.
I love both you guys, and Dan, congrats again to my friend, and you deserve every minute of it. You guys take care, and hopefully we will see you soon.
See you later, Uncle
Thank you,
Terry.
sir. That's Terry
All right,
Boers.
you guys. Thanks so much.
Of course, sitting by his pond. That's the life.
He's just great. If that didn't make you feel better about whatever your day was, then I don't know what to tell you. Because Boers is great. And that trip to Mr. Benny's, oh, my God.
If you were really listening to some of the stuff he was saying, there were all kinds of unkind words for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, buddy, this guy wasn't any good till he dropped dead. Like, what?
That guy? My favorite part is when Terry, brought a couple of the servers over and he's like, hey, you remember that guy? Aren't you glad he's dead?
And then the bartender came by and brought us all a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, because it's Terry Boers.
Yeah, I know.
Like you're rolling with TB.
I don't know if I can deal with him being that excited about the Bears.
It's nice.
It's unsettling. It's
nice.
It is nice, but that's really he's not here to blow smoke about it. He'd tell you if he thought Caleb Williams sucked, he'd tell you.
Yeah, it's really nice. TB's the man.